And so we'll do. Okay, I have been notified that that recording is in progress. So welcome to the Animation Academy. This is an early session, a session of Character Design 2, although we will be working with some Character Design 1 content that our student Caden has done, which he's wrapping up that class as he progresses into Character Design 2. And then we're going to have Alicia's work, where she did a really nice male and female full body construction. Okay, and I'm going to have a review of that, and then I'll also have some demonstrations. I'll also show some examples of stuff that I've done in the past that is consistent with what it is that I'm going to be impressing upon you tonight. And we'll see if we can't, you know, maybe come up with do something new. Okay, like a new, you know, a demonstration for this particular session. Okay, so let's start with. Let's go here, and I think we should start with Caden, with your work from Character Design 1. As I mentioned before, Caden, I'm really impressed with all the progress that you made, because you really started from, I mean, really started from scratch, and you're doing some very nice stuff. Excuse me one second. This particular version of Photoshop doesn't really, it's a little bit problematic. So yeah, and Zoom always slows things down. So let me go ahead and just some. Now here we go with. I think the character looks great, and on top of that, Caden, you got yourself a really fun style going on. You really do, and it's something that I personally admire. I think that it's you're coming up with very appealing characters, and you're doing it consistently, and you're doing it well. And on top of that, this is not an easy thing to do, and you did a very impressive job for your first 5 posts. So a big congratulations to you. Okay, this is nice. This is well done. I like this. What I'm seeing here, I would suggest, if we're going to get into the nitty gritty of things, you know, let's make sure that the feet. There you go. That's a nice improvement right there. Okay, good. All right. I would suggest also articulating. You know, I've said it before, and I'm still reiterating it, that at this instruction. Information, okay, like where the center line is, where the point where the legs connect to the body, the wrists, let's say with the hands, so you have the shoulders, elbows, all that kind of stuff. All right, so I would include that in the blue pencil aspect of it. We're seeing it in the head, but we're not seeing it in the body. And I think that, and maybe I don't know, maybe you had it there and erased it or something. I would suggest not erasing it. The foot is pretty good. I would suggest a little bit more of an upturn on that. Okay. There you go. The center line will show the contour of the torso, and that will help you to like, let's get in there. You'll see what I'm talking about. See, like that point right there needs to be right here. And I know that it's small. You may think that it's insignificant, but really it's not. Off the bat, there are a lot of other people that have the center line because it helps to kind of give everything, you know, it helps to explain things better, you know, and helps you to kind of, you know, establish important information. I think there's a little bit of an issue here with the volume of the head, but that's okay. This is you have a little bit more of an arc here, and then the center, the eye line looks good, and you also have an overlap, Caden. See this, where the line is overlapping the forehead here? You would have the same thing here, are behind the arc of the head. They're behind that arc. They're behind this point right here. Okay, and as that head ears back a little bit more, maybe about like this. If you want to move the ears all the way to the back of the head like that, that would be fine too. Okay, it's basically just the aesthetics that you're going for. Whatever it is, in the opposite side of that arc, okay, on the back side of that arc. Okay, then and I would also we're seeing, because the nature of the jaw, we're seeing this to that character, simplify that, having a little bit, just a little bit of this area there. Okay, and also right here, it shows you that the eyes are not touching the center line, which means that basically the front of the character's face over here. Okay, we're going to pull them back a little bit more. Now that's making a little bit more to remember is like wherever that plumb line is, that line that goes straight through the character, that's the center of gravity. It's different than this of your character. And I also found that if you push the arm back behind that, lifting the arm, and here's where the hand would be, maybe something like this, arm aspect to the personality of the character. So I would suggest, if you want to maintain that, maybe bring that out like this. Draw through. So you want to establish, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put like a little wave. And I think that key. So let me try and simplify this. I'm not seeing that much of an, there you go. And then bring the legs. Yeah, we got to do a little bit of adjusting here to have an absolute, we can say, or they know ZBrush or whatever, model it yourself. And sometimes the character, pretty much like this from the side. It's very natural. I think that we can still make the body a little bit slimmer. There you go. Okay, and I'm just gonna use a little hash line like that to kind of show where the back of the character's torso is, like that. Now this is always the hardest one. It goes around the shape. It goes around the shape. And if you just line up your 3/4 view with what's happening here, then it'll be overlapping because they're on that side of the, the ears here and the ears here. So let's make that fix. And again, what we'd be doing in the studio, we get the rotation, would make it, let's say, see, also, keep this in mind that you're pivoting the characters, oval shape, okay? And as you follow that shape around, are getting way too high with this. And that's a big problem with a lot of students, even professionals, kind of strut the body, this overlapping the body. So I don't know, it doesn't necessarily make it work, okay? That seems to work. That's seeing purposes. This is for the story people who would be traditionally animating this character. The 3/4 front poses and 3/4 back poses are the most important because that's how the character is staged most of the time. But when you're going to model it, okay, in the, for a computer generated, medium, it's this pose. I'm just going to put CG on this pose, and this pose here. So these are the ones that you really want to get to work for the working off your drawings. And these 3/4 view staging purposes. And bring those feet back. This is very typical, by the way. This right here, these really, really angled feet on the back views, very typical who do this. And remember, you want part of being a professional character designer. And not only is it an important part as far as like what you're required to do to give them a good, accurate rotation. Okay, the whole production process, because your all ears overlap. See that? And now let's take a look at this. And you'll see that with a few minor modifications, a good character rotation gets to be even better. And now which made the whole thing is making a lot more sense. I'm just going to say, I just want to commit, okay? And I'm just going to notarize this and we'll archive your assignment. And we know, when it was done, when it was reviewed. All right, and I'm going to go here because the file is kind of big. So I'm just going to go and let's get the cropping tool and just bring it in a little bit. Okay, I kind of like that extra space, but it's a nice way to frame the drawing. And you did a very professional job. Look at that. You did a really professional job with this. I don't know if it was scanned or if you took a photo or whatever, but it really came out nicely. And your presentation was commendable. It's very impressive. So I would say go ahead and take a screen grab of that, and I would say use my notes. You can go ahead and use my notes to make revisions on your design on your end. And then if you were to put a nice bold line on that, whether it was with a blue pencil or a graphite pencil, you're going to have yourself a really good looking, very nicely done rotation that you'll be able to showcase. Okay, you could take it to school and show it to your art teacher or whatever and get extra credit. You can put it up online and you can start building a community and just sharing it with other people in appropriate at appropriate venues, wherever you enjoy. And and people, you'll show people that you can do this. And again, this is a very it's a high skill, so are we okay, Caden? Did you get this?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let's go to Alicia. All right, and this is Alicia's female form, and this is, let's get back to brush, and this is Alicia's male form. Let's see if we can enlarge this a little bit. Okay, great. And I'm going to spend a considerable amount of time on this because this is very important. This is like the bedrock of character design 2. we've emerged from character design one, where you got, really interesting, simple characters like this. And now we're going into a more complex approach, which is, based on the human body, where the whole idea of everything that we learned in character design one, we're just taking it up to another level in character design two. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to make some little adjustments and stuff and explain why I'm doing this and how it enhances the design of the character. Okay. And the first thing that I want to say, let's start from the top and work our way down. The first thing I want to say is a little bit, just be mindful of this. We're going to make some adjustments here. Nice. So I'm precise with this. These are ellipses that you're drawing, and the ear as before. You want to be able to look at your drawings, higher one. So let's raise that up. I'm just going to match that up. There we go. Okay. I think what we've got here is got like parallels tend to make your drawing, your design stagnant. You want to look for arcs. You want to look for this kind of thing. Okay. A sweep form. The shoulders tend to swoop down. You're doing Joan in France, like the patron saint of France, who saved the French. She did a lot of heroic things. A few, back in the, I think it was the 1300s. Okay. Another thing that you're doing here, which I see a lot of people doing, and it's probably comes from you're utilizing other content for your character design education. And I see this happen. I'm absolutely encouraged that. I think that's fine, but I don't necessarily subscribe to the ball and socket thing that's going on over here. Okay. And I see this a lot with my students at early stages of their work. And it's not something that I necessarily, it's, you can include it. I would say with this particular, like a distinct, like on another, thing. Okay. I think that's fine. If you're inclined to do that, I take for a simpler approach with that. I look for simultaneously simultaneously working the construction. What I'm doing right now is I'm establishing the flow of the design, which is an animation principle. And I'm tying that into design the character. Also, you can see right here, you see how boxy you got with the shoulders. This is going, you got all these strong horizontals and all these strong, the anatomy would be something like this, where of the leg, the way that it's connected to the body, a V, and you're automatically triangulating, okay, when you do that. All right, so now let's go down here and let's just clean it up. And I would do, but going, even though it needs some adjustments, it usually go in there or phase two, you can make those adjustments on your final pass. Like I personally think that see where the elbow is here and see where I highly recommend this who are doing this, don't take the thing to flop it over. You could do it as long as you have but also as long as you have one model, they will just take and they will just flop it and it saves, a lot of money too. But when it comes to training yourself, and I highly recommend learning how to work the symmetry of your design coordination. Okay, now what we've got here is we've got ourselves a very good form. I'm going to be adding some anatomy to its form. Okay? And then I'm going to elliptically show I'm going to elliptically show how the arms connect with that center line straight like that, all that kind of stuff. And I've got myself an absolutely wonderful start working from. Absolutely wonderful form. I'm just going to adjust what you did, Alicia. This is what you did. I just kind of made some adjustments, reeled it in, and we've got ourselves a fantastic image. Now, this is what you would do as a starting point. I would say, you need to do rotation on this character, on this, this, and it's gonna be, a challenge. It definitely is. But take your time and do a nice job with it. And again, it's going to be something that you're going to use. You can use it. You can show people what you're doing, and they'll be super impressed. And it's going to make such an impression on people when they see like, wow, this girl's very serious. I mean, she's very studious. She's doing all the important academic things for developing her design skills, your drawing skills, all that kind of stuff. And you're going to become an expert in drawing from your imagination. That's really one of the goals of this is. Now let's go to what I want to do is I want to talk to you about exaggerating. Okay, this is a good foundational drawing that we have. This is a good foundational drawing. Okay, These are the modifications, all right, where I've kind of like secured everything. Everything's in place now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to explore this. Okay, what happens if we just really kind of like this, really taper the legs, you know, to lead up with tapered feet. Graphic thing, and you're turning things and you're making it graphic. Let's see if we can't, okay, let's exaggerate her bust very much so. We can do this very effectively with a male figure. But watch this now, okay? Watch this. I'm gonna go and try and do a little trick. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do this instead, okay? I'm gonna use this process. I'm gonna use this process and I'm going to turn the opacity of my brush down. And I'm just going to kind of pick out this stuff right here, okay? So that the red lines and the contour of the character. Now, I don't know if I would go with this design. I think it still needs modification. It's going to give you an idea about how you can take this basic design and turn it into something where you enhance the appeal of it. You enhance the like, you know, that's appeal and get a really good looking character. And this is just something I'm trying right now to see how I can, you know, little things I can do. See right there, especially at the waist. Okay, I think that we'd have to kind of go up into, we have to kind of make it stronger. Okay, there we go. I bring in the hips. And when this curve on the hip falls below like the bottom of her body, like when that curve comes out this way, then the character starts to look matronly. She starts to look more mature. Okay, and you know, so there we are. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to see if I can push that back a little bit, push this back a little bit, looking a nice body, you know, a nice body. It's still a little heavy in the shoulders. Probably have to balance it out, you know, like somewhere down here, or maybe reduce the size of the head. But in any case, it's very nice. And this is what I was able to extrapolate from that. And this is what I want to show you, how you can take something like that and you can turn it into a character like this, because it's the same basic approach. And this is Crash Bandicoot's girlfriend. Okay. And I did this a couple of years ago, actually. Wow. More than that now. Okay. And not where I'm describing, I use this as, you know, if you're on Patreon, then you get like graphics lessons. And I take, you know, like some of the demonstrations I've done in class and stuff like that and make it available to our Patreon subscribers in kind of like a, you know, like a page from a book. And this whole thing is about drawing through it. See, even though you can't see her eye and her face because the hair, this lock of hair is covering her, that side of her head, you still draw that, you know, for, to understand what's going on underneath it. You won't see it in the final version of the character, but it's still there. And it's all important as far as just the good proper approach to construction-based drawing. And I use the same approach to anatomy, and I just exaggerated, modified stuff and everything, and like really push the flow, really push the, you know, the tapering and the triangulation, and we got ourselves a good looking character. Okay, that's just one example. I'm going to initial this. Oh, I got to get the right color there. There we go. And today is June 20th, 2022. There you go. Okay, Alicia, if you want to take a I would actually like to take just stuff here. There you go. You could make her a superhero. You know, you could get the shoulders to be muscular, all that kind of stuff and everything, make her slightly more muscular and everything. But, you know, for a good basic, you know, torso for like as a point of departure, something like this would work fine. Okay. Okay. Let me know when you got this. Alicia, you got it?
I got it.
Okay, great. Now let's go to your next one. And Caden, listen to what I'm saying, because you're going to be doing this. Okay, as soon as you finish all your assignments with character design 1, you're going to be doing this. Again, this is a good, really good first attempt. And I just want to make sure that everybody understands something. That this is the very beginning of Alicia's term with character design 2. Okay, this is the very beginning. This is just where she's starting out. And I think you did nicely here. I would also basically go in the same direction as I was with the female character. Let's get a good color there. All right, let's kind of zoom in and see what's happening with this fellow here. A little bit rounder. Same thing with that. With me, even up those ears to make sure that they're both. You should always top. Okay, or get away from. You got a little bit of an attempt to line. You want to widen because of the squareness of the jaw, and you can get a little bit more block here in the shoulders here, like you're doing here, like as opposed to the female figure. But again, see, I don't understand what that is there. It just doesn't. It's not necessarily something that is helping your design. And again, I'm not necessarily going for realistic. It's design. So I'm just going to go ahead and let's get the body still through where it's exactly where it's supposed to go. It's kind of straying on you here. And your rib cage, that rib cage cross this way, the arcing work like this. On the other side, the contour with the female figure, you got shape 3. Sorry, you got shape 1, you got shape 2, you got shape 3. I'm not going to go and get into muscle groups yet. The only muscle is the chest line going across this way. Stops. This is where the shoulder starts, the arm starts. I could go in and say, okay, the body stops there. And then I could actually go in and say, okay, there's this shape of something like this, like what we're seeing him do. Like this. I'm at this point. All right, let's go ahead and finish the body. Again, the legs way too blocky, way too parallel. If you start off, we're not doing this and this and this. We're not doing that at all. What we're doing is and if you are doing that, then you go within the flow, which is more like the contour. Based on the inside leg with the top of the knee, there's a subtle curve because you don't want to break that way, and you get, get skinny with those ankles. The ankles, on the character, it's gonna have and it needs a character like this. So you want to keep and be mindful. I consign that's your vanishing point, and then boom, boom, boom. That you're sketching are consistent with the angle of the. A lot of people have a problem understanding how to do some convincing that simple approach. And that is, and then this is going to be, let me do it looking foot. This is where it's connected. One shape here, which is the big toe, and then all these divide them. And you got a good looking, there's the arc of the foot. There's there's the big toe, about like that, and like this. This is kind of a crude looking foot. I've done better feet. You're starting to get the idea of like a foot, forming out of that. Okay, and then let's go to the arms. We figure out where the crate. This is, and I always use the bottom of the body to the lengths that I kind of divide the hand with that. You could probably maybe go in and like extend that part of the rib cage. Clap with the thumb. The shape of the hand, which is normally like this way where the thumb is, occupy, and then just divide that 4 fingers and a thumb. And basically that's it. That's your basic approach to maybe throwing a little indication of the fingernails, and then you're going to bend an article, going to bend the fingers at this knuckle. So it's just a simple, again, a simple easier, and then you start to master it, and the techniques, your own methods, your own style for doing, feet and toes and hands and all that. And you wind up a nice, and so that's one of the reasons why I send this hand down here like this, because the tip, I've worn the tip down with all on the drawing screen here. Okay, there you go. Look how good that looks. Look how fantastic that looks. And it just needed more. Just one more pass, and simplification. It needed simplification. I think the bottom of the leg here is getting long compared to the knee because this is the longest bone in the body right here. That's what this one is here. This is like 2 bones down here, like that. But it's okay because you're designing. Now let's go and let's see what we can do about exaggerating this character. And it's a lot easier to do with a male because of the opportunity to out the character. Let me turn that. I had the opacity down a little bit. That seemed to be pretty effective. So let's just do this. You can just push your shapes and make the character, which powerful superhero type stuff. I normally have some tea or something like that. I'm just enduring it. See what's happening now. See that it's you can really this is where you really get into character design, and from that to this, and oh gosh, there was another point I was going to make. I can't really remember what it is. Do all sorts of your own way, with your own style. Oh, that's what I was going to do. It doesn't necessarily have to be a character like this. It can be a character. I would come up with a character. I call He's be a villain, or maybe he could be a hero, you know, like a big chubby guy that, you know, we would normally on his couch all day watching TV and eating Cheetos and stuff. And he's a superhero, you know, and he goes out there. He's like really, really fast. He's like a big, heavy, you know, dude. He's really fast. You can, you know, you look at him, never thought he would be, you know, like so light on his feet or whatever, you know. Let's get rid of that. I don't know, it's acting up a little bit. There we are. Okay. All right. I'm going to reduce, I'm going to sign this, initial this, and then archive it. Okay, Alicia, let me reduce the size of that slightly. Just give me a second. Yeah, that's okay. I think we can get most of it. And if you haven't gotten this yet, then this is your opportunity to do it. I would also like to say that you want to be mindful about how many heads tall the character is. This one looks like it's pretty good. You did a really nice job with it. And I think for next week, we're going to go into, you know, again, I want you don't have to do it by next week. You just have to do it by, let's say, the end of this. It's some recent time. Let's say do as much as you can by next week, whatever, as far as your rotations are concerned. Because, and I also want you to kind of like migrate towards taking what it is that you're doing here and creating new characters, okay? Like a new project or, you know, just doing some conceptual work where you're taking this approach to your characters and you're doing, you know, more complex studies. Because, and remember, what we're trying to do now is just, all we want to do is, we want to do this. We want to figure out what the character looks like before we get around to you know, like how the character moves, okay, or how the character acts. It's what the character looks like. Okay, Alicia, have you got this?
I got it.
Just give me a look. Okay, great. Now let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this demonstration where I did this. This is a class demonstration. I don't know when I did it. I would say it's probably about the same time period as the other one. Okay, but my whole idea here for character design 2, these were class demos. This was a marker demonstration right here. I did that with, I did that drawing and then I went on top of it with, no, I think this is all digital. I drew all these digitally. And I made it look like it was a gray marker rendering, okay? But you can see how I took that whole approach towards construction and everything. In this case, instead of doing, oh, where is that? Where in the world did it go? Sorry. Oh, shoot. Oh, man, I did something. I did something wrong here. There we go. Okay. Sorry about the hold up. I'm just trying to find, this is Alicia. This is Alicia. Oh, there we go. Oh, I was drawing over her. That's what I thought it was a separate file. Okay. In this particular case, you know, like instead of going, you know, real bulky and all that kind of stuff, see in this particular case, or doing something like this, in this particular case, what I did was everything, you know, like made him longer, lankier. And then I started to distort the anatomy, you know, I started to, through design, I started to innovate. And this is still in line with, you know, with the whole essence of character design too, but you're taking, now you're starting to do creative things with it. You know, like you're doing, you know, like more realistic characters, like that's a head concept study, you know, and this is a head concept study. And just like, it doesn't have to everything, you know, like the whole thing was, you know, let's come up with like alien characters of some kind, you know, and that's what I was doing over here. And you could see how I was drawing through, how much attention the red is phase 2 and the black blue starts to kind of like build upon that construction and define what's going on as far as the things that I want the viewer to see. And then I made my final commitment with my black line. Okay. All right, great. Let's close that. And let me see if I can find maybe a couple of other things before we wrap up. Okay. That could help you with this. Excuse me, guys. I know it's kind of tough on my throat. Next time I'm going to make sure I have water available. Okay, let me go here and let me just show you And here's something that we're going to be doing later on. Okay, we're going to be doing this later on. This is what you can do with your design when you've got it established. You can start doing action attitude poses with it. See, that's the female character from Character Design 2. And here I am, I'm instructing everybody work from a little thumbnail sketch, trying to figure out what you want to do with work, just do your thinking this way. And then here is the scene. This is here, like in the scene. But in any case, upper leg and stuff, how things go in and out. I'm utilizing the S curve. Although we're going to be getting into that a little bit more later on when we start to get into this. But we're going to be doing that with your characters. We're going to be doing that with your characters. And look again how I'm taking my time with this and I'm being thorough. My blue line is phase 1. My red line is phase 2. You can see the red like in place of the form, and that's 3. And then I just have a little bit of fun when I know that I got my composition is spot on, it's working, and do a little bit of shading and and have a and really enhance the illusion of the form. Okay, let me close this. And we still got a couple more minutes, and if you don't mind, I would like to give you some more examples of where you can go with the character that you're going to be developing for this particular assignment. I would like to have 3 characters, one male, one female, and one that can be either one. It can be either one, or it can be something where you're doing something weird, like, like have a monster, a monstrous character, or some sort of alien character, or something where it starts to become, like a human animal hybrid kind of thing. Okay, and let me see if I can find one more. Yeah, here's a good one to show. Here's a real good one to show, because these are designs that were actually utilized in the development of a major video game. Okay, like this is something that I did. If you know the Jak and Daxter video game franchise, I designed that whole game from scratch. The characters, that is, and this is one of the characters that I had done back then. And I did this in Blue Pencil. See, Blue Pencil isn't just for doing your construction. You can actually render with it. And I developed this technique where I could use my Blue Pencil, blend it in, and then go on top of it with gray markers. And it would kind of pick up the blue pencils, because the blue pencil is water soluble. It's almost like I was painting with it. And I got a great, they were telling me the kind of character they were looking for. And I did this, but I did this thinking that the character was going to be like in PlayStation 1, because Jak and Daxter was one of the very first games done for PlayStation 2. And in PlayStation 1, all you needed was 500. The limit for your characters was 500 polygons. In other words, 500 geometric shapes that they would use to make up the character. So the character had to be simple and graphic and streamlined. And then they explained to me what the nature of characters of PlayStation 2 is. And that's when I realized, they wanted me to, you got to completely, the technology is completely different. Instead of 500 polygons, you now have 10,000 polygons. So this was the very first attempt drawing that you're seeing here at designing for a complex video game system. And the difference that you see here between here and here is, look, everything is flat. See the flatness of the straps, the flatness of the belt, the flatness of his clothing. Look at this. And everything has thickness now. Okay. Everything has thickness. And look at how I'm exaggerating. Look at how I build the body, and you can see my construction lines, like the construction line for the leg and the body is there. You can still see the ankle against the foot. You can see that all these things I'm drew through. You can see the arm right there. It's something that I do, and all my friends do this too. All my colleagues in the drawing from your imagination field do this. And then we got this whole thing now. Look at the thickness of that strap, and the thickness of that hair. I'm like sculpting the character. I'm bringing all the fullness of these forms and shapes out, so that the modelers can really maximize the software. And this was the first time that I ever drew like this, and it was very successful. And you see stuff now. This was 22 years ago. Now you're seeing stuff that is obviously Jak and Daxter, was the beginning of it. Was the very, very beginning of designing in this manner. So keep that in mind too, as you're designing as well. You might as well keep this in mind, because that's what, if you're going to design for CG, this is what you're going to do. This is okay too, you know, this is okay, but this is a lot more suitable for 2D and this is a lot more suitable for CG. And it's also imaginative and it's also fun and it's also, you know, and I've also taken my time, you know. So, you know, take your time. Again, I would trade quantity for I would trade quantity for quality. Okay. So take your time, be thorough, take this seriously because you're both, all three of you are very talented. And, you know, if you develop the discipline to take your art to this kind of level, you're going to be extremely successful with what you do. You're going to be, you know, people are going to be noticing and they're going to want to, they're going to be, you know, interested in you. Okay. So that's it for today. Thank you for the extra couple minutes. Do you have any questions before we go?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What is the assignment again?
The assignment for you, Caden, would be this: a female form and the male form, generic male form. Okay, something that we can just get ready to do. I want a full front view, and a full front view, and we're going to rotate that. And I want, in conjunction with doing concept sketches for your characters based on this approach to character design, stuff like what I'm showing you here. Okay. I mean, this is an extreme, but you know, like do something creative with it is what I'm kind of getting at. All right. I could be more specific. Let's just say I want one concept drawing of your main character. Like, let's say, you know, your main lead character, one concept drawing of your, of the villain, of the arch enemy, or the boss character of some kind, you know, like a boss character that the lead character is going to have to perhaps contest with. And then a third character, which can be either like a backup, you know, like a sidekick to either one, or a neutral character or something like that, that you could fit into your story. Okay. Concept sketches. And I want you to do one of these. I want you to do one of these. Okay. Get your drawings ready for a rotation, a full body 5-pose rotation. Okay.
For my
Alicia?
For my assignment, is it just the three full body concept?
Yeah, I want you to do full body concepts, concept designs. Okay. I want you to do two things at once. I want you to have fun creatively with what it is that you're doing right here, but I also want you to rotate that, your male and female character. You could do like maybe 2 poses of your rotation by next week. Okay. You don't have to rush it. I just don't want you to rush it. I just want you to, you know, take your time with it, because every time people rush this, they rush this assignment. I don't get good results from it. I cannot show it and say, this is the work of students from the Animation Academy. Okay. And that's important to me, because when I want to, you know, like, it's important to me that whatever art we showcase is art that looks like it was, you know, like the student really applied themselves to it. Okay. So that's what I want. I want that approach to both the male rotation, the female rotation, and having fun doing concept sketches. Caden, in your case, you need to finish character design 1. So take a look at that sheet that you've done. Take a look at the assignment sheet and see if there's anything there that you haven't done yet. And do that, whether it's facial expressions, whether it's, you know, whatever the case, whether it's your CG rotation, just make sure you've done all that stuff. And then let me know, okay, that you say, I think I've got everything completed, because you've got your 5-pose rotation completed. I'm giving you full credit for that. Okay, that was nicely done. Just finish character design 1 and then go ahead and you can go into character design 2. Okay, there's the same criteria. There's similar criteria in the worksheet that I gave you for character design 1 as there is for character design 2. Okay, it's the same kind of thing. You're going to have to do action attitude poses. You're going to have to do all this kind of stuff. You know, you're going to have to do CG rotations on your characters. both the male and the female character. It's a lot of work. You guys are being trained to be top level professionals. Okay, I want you to understand that. That's what this is. This isn't a kid's class. This isn't like a teen class or something for you guys to have fun during the summer. And I'm not berating you or anything like that. It's just, I just want you to understand so you can have the right understand the right mindset as you approach your assignments. Okay, there's a lot of work to do, and I don't expect you to do all this stuff within a week. I just expect you to kind of like, be moving in this direction, and we will accumulate all this stuff, and then we'll assess it at the end of like a month from now, and we'll take a look at it. We'll just say, okay, let's see where you are with character design 2, and let's see how much you've completed. Okay, so and then what else we have to finish up, we'll finish up. But one of the things you're going to be doing is you're going to be staging your characters. Like when you do your action attitude posing, it's going to be 2 characters together. It isn't going to be just 1 character. It's going to be 2 characters. It's going to be, we're going to end this up character design 2 with characters interacting with each other and setting up scenes. Okay, that's the direction we're going in with character design 2. So have fun with it. Just have fun with it. And understand that when the time comes and you're ready to, maybe submit your portfolio, submit, your application to like an art school or university or something like that, you're going to have an absolutely astonishingly good quality work that you're going to be ready to compete. They'll be anxious to have you. I realize that you guys are still kind of young for all that, but it's going to come faster than you think. And if you're serious about your art, this is one of the things that you have to keep in mind. Okay, so yeah, so do as much as you can. You know what you need to do. Rotation on a generic male figure, rotation on a generic female figure. I gave you, like do a search for generic male figure, generic male rotation, and generic female rotation, like I told you last week. And that'll give you the reference that you need to kind of get going. But I also want you to have fun creatively. So when you have this going, what are you going to do? Like if your project is, you're going to do new alien characters to Star Wars, what are they going to look like? Okay. And I want you to refrain from shading. We're going to get this shading very soon. But we can shade when I'm very confident that you're doing, like really good drawings consistently. Okay. That don't need a lot of my attention. All right. That's your reward, or that's going to be, that's the goal for when you're designing your characters very well. Okay, I got to run, guys. It's getting a little late. I have another student to get ready for. Okay, so do you have any other questions at all? Does that make? Do you understand what you're going to be doing for next week?
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Alicia?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You guys are great. I really enjoy my time with you, and I really enjoy looking at your art. So keep it up, okay? And I'll see you next time. And Alan, I hope you're enjoying yourself. And I hope that you're going to do some impressive work too. All right, we'll see what we can do about getting video out to Alan. Okay, guys, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Say hi to your folks.
Bye. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
week.
You too. Bye. See ya.